Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I am Dina, and we have here a special guest today. First of all, I'm going to introduce you, Joseph, as well. And we are lucky to have today Amir Eden joining us. Um, Joseph, would you like to introduce Amir?
Yeah, Amir is a friend and a leader, a skill leader with a master degree in nonprofit management and leadership. He's a director of Friends of Israeli Defense Forces, FIDF, in Denver, Colorado, and Las Vegas. And he's, I think, one of the biggest experts of fundraising and building meaningful connections and community. I think with all the years he brought and continued to bring a very interesting insight of leadership, fundraising, and creating real connections across borders. So I'm lucky to have you here. I'm here.
Thank you for
Well,
having me. Thank you, Dina. Thank you, Yossi. It's a
really
pleasure.
happy to have you over here today, Amir. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
So you're here not just by kiss, obviously, because this Joseph and I have been talking in this podcast about it's called Interscaler, about the differences between cultures and how they affect the business world, the nonprofit world, and just what does it mean? Like, what really means the cultural difference in the daily life? Um, I think I would like just to start with maybe a few stories you can share with us, because you are, if I'm understanding correctly, you were born in Israel, but you lived for many years in the United States. Want to tell us a little more about different nuances you encountered during your
Yes,
stay or during the time you've been living
absolutely.
here?
Absolutely. So, yes, I was born in Israel and I'm sixth generation. My ancestors came to Jerusalem many years ago. And I came to the States in 93, actually for a honeymoon. I would say that all my life I had American family and Israeli family. My grandmother came from Germany to Israel before Israel was born, and then more than Israel, and then to New York. So I have an uncle and cousins who are Americans, do not speak Hebrew, visit Israel here and there, to see us. I mean, my family there, but not more than that. And so within the family, we started to have cultural differences. And then I came here and I stayed. And as Yossi said, I went, earned my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, and lived in different states and really had different roles. So I would say that during my time here in the States, I had the privilege of working with Americans and working with Israelis and have combined groups of Israelis and Americans in different organizations. So this half of me is Israeli and half of me is an American. Actually, I lived more here in the United States than in Israel, but I was 26 years old when I came. So I had 26 years in Israel. The funny stories that I can share with you, that will be personal stories, but funny stories, and then we'll take it to the business world. So here are a couple of stories. So as I said, my uncle is an American. I didn't say he's a circuit judge, a very serious man, and he came to visit Israel, came to visit his brother, and I happened to be there for work. So the scenario is we're in Beersheba, really next to the Ben Gurion University, sitting having dinner in the balcony, and my dad looks at me and says in Hebrew, I think that my brother is bored and we should do something tomorrow. And I said, I don't think he's bored. He's here on vacation. He just wants to relax. And he says, no, we gotta do something. Gotta show him something. So I said, Dad, what do you want? And he goes, let's go to Masada. Those are, the mountain with the Romans and the Jews fighting them. And I said, tomorrow? And he said, yes. I said, okay, but Dad, we need to leave early because it was during the winter and tourist sites are going to close early. And my dad says, of course. And I wake up in the morning, one of them is asleep, another one is reading a newspaper. I said, Dad, we gotta go. So we're going. My dad is driving. I'm on the right side, and my uncle is in the back. Again, doesn't speak Hebrew. So we're driving down to the Dead Sea. We're making a right. We're going all the way to Masada. We get to the gate. So there's a youth hostel on your left. the gate is closed. There's a guard there, and obviously the attraction, the site is closed. Like coming to like Texas and going to the Alamo, closed. So if I were only an American, I would say close is close, no is no, and just turn and say, well, maybe we'll do it next time. But the Israeli part of me, when we hear no, we really think about how to change the no to a yes. So what I did was I looked at the guard. The guard looked at me. I gave the serious look, and he asked me, "Are you to the ceremony?" I said, "Yes." So he opened the gate. My dad looks at me and says, "Amir, which ceremony?" I said, "Dad, I don't know. But we went through the first obstacle." So we're going uphill and we get to the parking lot, which is underground, and it's closed. So again, the American side of me says, closed, we can't park, we got to go. But the Israeli of me says, okay, let's look at the doors. Maybe there's an opening. So I saw a door slightly open. I went there and I opened it. I said, "Dad, come." And they followed me. Now I'm going in my mind, I'm thinking I'm going to the tickets booth and I'm buying something for the cable car, but it's closed. So I'm thinking fast. I'm thinking, what I'm going to do now? Go on the snake path with my dad, who's like 80 years old, and his brother. I said, okay, so gotta look. I saw a group in the corner of my eye, and I'm looking at the woman there. She looks at me and she's asking me, "Are you with Moses, the tour guide?" I said, "Yes." My dad looks at me and I said, "Dad, just follow with me." So we went to the group and we went up. And what happened there was there was an organization of men who became 83 years old, and they celebrated their second bar mitzvah. So they went uphill in the cable cart, and I'm going there. Now, I'd been probably like 23 or 24 times at that site. So I said, okay, follow me. And I was a tour guide. Okay, just one example. So in the morning, we're back in Israel. Now, I have to mention that my dad is a pilot, not like an F-16, Cessna 172, just like as a hobby. And my uncle is also a pilot, has his own plane in Miami, and a bigger one. And so we're sitting there. It's the same dinner, same balcony, and my dad is still he's bored. We got to do something. I said, "Dad, well, what do you want me to do now?" And he goes, "Well, tomorrow at 11 a.m., there's the Air Force Academy graduation. We need to take him there." And I said, "Dad, it's a serious place. It's a military base, Air Force base. The Prime Minister is going to be there. The Ministry of Defense is going to be there. The Air Force commander." I said, "How do you want me to get there? Like 11 a.m. tomorrow?" He said, "You can do it." And as soon as he's done saying that sentence, my phone rang. And on the phone, it's Ofer. Ofer happened to be the spokesperson of the Ministry of Defense, a friend of mine. "Hi, I heard you're in Israel. Let's have coffee." And I said, "Ofer, look, I'm going to ask you a question. Please don't be upset at me because they asked me right now." I said, "Can you get 2 invitations for my dad and my uncle for tomorrow at 11? And of course, he got upset. And he said, "Why didn't you call me earlier? We had invitations, but now we sold them all. We don't have invitations. It's tomorrow at 11. And then Ofer said something that would never happen in the United States. He said, "Look, tell your dad to take his brother and just to go to the base, stand at the gate, and then someone is going to come and say, I had 5 invitations. Someone was sick. Someone now I can give you 2. And I said, "You're talking about a secure site. It's a military base." He said, "I'm telling you, just do it." So my dad and his brother went there. And my dad, after 5 minutes being standing there, called me and said, "Amir, we're in. Someone gave me invitations." And they went in. That will never happen here. Last thing, same place, same evening, same balcony. And my dad is still, we got to do something. I said, "What now?" And he said, "Maybe the Bedouin Museum." I said, "Dad, what does he need to do? What he has to do with the Bedouin Museum? I don't think he likes that." And he said, "He's from Florida. They have Everglades and they have alligators." Well, they don't have Bedouins, so I think that'll be interesting. So we wake up in the morning, 3 of us drive to the Bedouin Museum. It's closed. So again, my American side says close, turn around, go. maybe the next visit. But the Israeli side of me saying, close means it needs to be open. So I looked at the window and I saw a guard sitting there. Now, this is not closed for a few hours. It's closed that day. So I go knock gently on the window. And the guy says, close, close. And I said, I know, but come for a second. And he goes, close, close. I said, I know, come for a second. So he comes and he opens the door. I said, look, this is my uncle. All the way from Florida, he came to see this museum. Why? Because all his life, he cared about and he wanted to learn more about the Bedouins. He actually had a paper that he wrote about Bedouins. Won't you let him in? Now try that in any museum in the United States. We went in. The three of us went on a private tour. So this is just an example of the difference between when you hear no, and it's a no, and when you hear yes, no, it can be yes. Now I'll explain the Israeli thing and the American thing, and I'm generalizing because obviously we're talking about millions of people. From my understanding, my experience, this is a huge country, the United States. Many, many millions of residents, and we need the procedure. We need the box, because otherwise it's going to be, and we say in Hebrew, balagan, which means, I guess, disorganized, right? And in Israel, we are born, we're raised to think outside of the box. You look at the location where we are, you look at the enemies around us, you look at the manpower of their armies, and you know that if we'll fight just a regular war with manpower and manpower, we don't have a lot of chances. But when we think outside of the box, when we let our basic regular soldiers to be trained as commanders, so if a commander is getting shot and he's out of the game, another guy can step in and think as his commander. So I think that, again, generally speaking, because I met Americans who are thinking outside of the box, with all the respect, Israel did not get to the moon, the United States did. So there are a lot of things that we can give credit to the American culture. But overall, now go
We ain't got to the moon yet.
Yet.
Crashed on the
We
moon.
crashed Genesis.
We crashed it on the moon.
Yeah, I know. So now I want to take this to the business or any profitable or non-profit organization where you have Israelis and you have Americans. And I'll give a couple of examples. Time. So there's the Middle Eastern time, that's Israel. Okay, the siesta of Mexico. And then we have Americans on time. So one incident, I'm at a school, I'm one of the leaders at the school. We have a Monday meeting, leadership
What
meeting.
size of the school, Amir?
It was the Allison Educational Campus in Las Vegas. I was in
So-
K-12, Jewish Studies, Israel, and Hebrew. So I worked with the teacher.
500 kids, more.
So again,
500?
800.
800?
It
Okay.
depends, on the year. So we there's a meeting. It's a Monday meeting, and it's 10 a.m., which means for an Israeli, it means to leave my office at 10. That's what it means. It's in the same building. Okay. When someone tells me 10 o'clock, I know I'm not going to be late. I'm going to be at 10. Okay, that's me being at 10. So I come at 10, and all my American colleagues are already there. So I'm looking at my watch. I go like, how come they're already here? Right? That's in my conception is like, what is 10? 10 means that it's 10-ish. It means that we get to the room. Israelis usually have like a corner with coffee, and we go there and we have the small talk. Oh, Benjamin Netanyahu said this, and Ben Gvir said that, and Gantz said that, and Maccabi Tel Aviv won the game or lost the game. It's kind of like a comfort zone until we start. While in the States, we go in, we mean business. 10 is 10. So we were there.
Amir, I just want to add something very short to this.
Sure,
I worked a few years ago with an international organization, and I had a meeting with somebody from Singapore. And I was very proud of myself because I came 10 minutes early. You understand why? Because it was 10 minutes before, and he was standing
That's your
there.
reference
And
point.
I got a little upset even. I said, why are you here so early? He's like, I'm from Singapore. If you come on time, you're late.
Right. So we're sitting there, and there's one colleague that is missing. I remember his name, Bill. Bill was not there. And this is what I saw around me. Where's Bill? It's 10:03. Where's Bill? Did Bill call? Did Bill email? Did he say anything? Maybe something is wrong. Let's call his office. And it's 3 minutes after 10. It would never happen in Israel. It would just never happen in Israel. Just one example. Another example about culture of differences, about teamwork and a decision. So same team, and it's a Monday, and we argue about something, and we make a decision as a team. And then we know that next Monday, there's the next meeting. So we go in, Americans, they make the decision, they will move forward from that point because the decision was made. So the foundation of this discussion is after the decision was made. However, Israelis, they're different. They're thinking, we made a decision as a team, and we had the week to think about the decision. So now I'm going to come back home and say, oh, I worked for NICE. And when we did this, we actually did that. And it was a mistake to do this. Now we're going to do that. Now the Israelis come back to the same meeting on Monday, and they are actually thinking backwards about something that happened last Monday. And the Americans are stunned because they say, we made a decision. We're moving forward. There's no way now to go back and think about what we do. No. Which again, difference in culture, right?
Amir,
Yes.
well, sorry to stop you, but as you're working now with both Americans and Israelis, how do you navigate through that? I mean, you go into a room, you know that you have a completely beautiful salad, Israeli salad, American salad, salsa, whatever you call it. How do you work with that? Like you can have two completely approaches. How do you make decisions? How do you make things happen despite or because of that to really work into your benefit? Because as I know you make things happen no matter what.
Thank you. So I think that the thing is, what works for me, Yossi, is that I am half-half. I am half-half. So I understand the American within me, and I understand the Israeli within me. And sometimes they talk to each other. Sometimes it goes like, you know what, this is what you want to do, but that's not going to work with that group. So let's be an American for now. Now I'm going to give you an example that I think it will be really emphasizing the difference between the two. So universities, I had the honor of supervising emissaries, shlichim, emissaries, either emissaries for college like Hillel or ISC or the Israeli Scouts, right? And they're wonderful people. They come full of passion and dedication and want to move forward and do what they came to do, right? So here's the American and Israel. An Israeli emissary will come to, let's say, UNLV, which is our local university here in Vegas. She or he landed yesterday. They know no one in the university, zero. They take a table, put it outside. They put few flags, they put few flyers, and they say, we are here to meet the students, either Israelis, Jewish, not Israelis. We're here to represent Israel. In American culture, this is a wrong move. Why? Because you didn't do the homework of meeting the leaders of the organizations that you're going to work with. By coming in and saying, this is my table, I'm here, you didn't do what you needed to do in order to build a strong foundation with the other organizations. So this is what my tip is. Americans are Americans. Israelis are Israelis. Americans are not going to become Israelis, and Israelis are not going to become Americans. Okay, they're going to be Americanized. They're going to be maybe familiar with Israelis, but they're not going to change their skin. So the first thing I've learned is never say, for me, they are all the same, because they're not. Don't say, I don't mind that you're African American. You're the same. You're not. He's not, or she are not, because they're not, because they carry their culture. They carry, their experience, their family experiences. So they are who they are, and it's the opposite. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing to say, I see you. I see you not as I want to see you, but I see you as you see yourself. And it's crucial to train the Israelis. This is what American wanted to say, or to say the Americans when Israelis say that. That's what he really means. When people say it's interesting, right? Or they say, let me think about it. Let me get back to you. Don't be a stranger. I mean, there are different, sentences that you read them differently.
Wow, it always
So,
goes right off my head. I don't get that. I ask direct questions. Does it mean we're going to talk or you're not interested? Like I
right,
really need somebody to explain that to me, which is a little, yeah, not
right,
very sophisticated.
right. And the other thing is that, you know, people think that we Israelis are rude. I don't think we are. I mean, there are some
Some
Israelis
rude
are rude. I
people.
won't say no,
Sometimes.
but sometimes. But I said the majority are just direct. Being direct and being rude is not the same thing. Saying thank you. I'll give you an example. So I came to college. I could work only on campus. I was a F1 holding of a F1, international student visa, right? I could work on campus. And I went to the campus, I think they call it something student services. Now I can't work outside. I'm not an American. Now I am. I wasn't. And I stood in line. I stood in line and it was my turn. And I said, hi, I'm an international student. I would love to work here in any job that you have. And the guy looked at me and said, 6 months from now. I said, what? Excuse me? And he goes, we will have an opening 6 months from now. I said, but I got to work. I got to support myself. I got to do this. He said, 6 months. So I went back home and I happened to meet the governor of that state. And I told him the story. He said, that can happen. It's wrong. And he said, look, every university is proud to have international students. They put the international students on their flyers, brochures, and every meeting that they have. I have someone from Israel, someone from Saudi Arabia, Jordan, France, right? He said, you got to have a job. They got to give you a priority because American can work outside. So a phone call here, a phone call there, and I got like a book, and I could choose what I want to do, on campus.
And
I was
that's
lucky.
very
I was lucky, but it's the governor, right? So I get a call, and then I have to go to the president, which is a big thing, the university president, to his office and get this book, right? I went in and I said, first thing, I don't want to take any position from anyone else. He said, no, these are valuable positions. I said, really? Okay. So I chose a position. I think it was an assistant of the soccer coach because I love soccer. So I said, okay, I'll do something I love and I get paid. And then I said, thank you. That's what I said. I said, thank you. And my American family member said, did he do something wrong? Did he hurt you in any way? I said, no, he was lovely. I mean, he gave me the job. And he said, so just thank you? And I said, yes. Now, coming from Israel, many don't say thank you. But if they say thank you, they say thank you. And he trained me how to say, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I sincerely, you changed my life, and on and on and on. So it's just like the American is saying thank you, the Israeli is saying thank you, but just in different ways because it's a different culture.
Amir, I'm sorry, we're going to have to finish them, but I want to ask you something. I want to go back to a first tip that you gave us, and maybe you did not mean it as a tip, but I do want to go back to it. You said when we hear no, we think how we can hear yes.
Right.
And I know there's a very big difference between, you said in the United States, you see something closed, it's closed. But from experience, my personal experience, when I did exactly that. I was smiling. I saw something closed. I approached, I asked. A lot of times you would hear no, but sometimes people are like so thrown off. They say, oh, okay, let me just go ask. Let me go find out so my question is when it goes to business and there comes a person who wants to try this strategy, doesn't matter if American or Israeli, how would you give us like a tip how to go about this in the business world without, I guess, burning ties or
Well, number one is the will be like $1 million tip, I think I'm going to say now, is that there's a sentence that always works for me, really. Knock
okay,
wood, you say, right?
I'm gonna write it
Which
down.
is there a chance? Is there a chance? Now, I'll tell you what, it's like there's a philosophy behind it. So if I say, I don't know, a rental car, right? For business though. I mean, I just, I'm a nonprofit. I went to to Denver, and I went to one of those rental cars, and in order to make sure that I save money, because when I save, it goes to the soldiers, in my case, in Israel, important programs. So when I rent a car, I always go to the less expensive one. Okay, but sometimes I have soldiers that I have to pick up, and they come with suitcases, right? So when I approach the guy and I can say, "Can I have an upgrade?" Most likely the answer will be no. But if I say politely, with a smile, friendly face, very calmly, and I say, "Is there a chance to get an upgrade?" What I've done, I empowered the guy on the other side. The message that I planted is, I need to show the guy that I can do it, because I need to show myself that I can do it. I have the power to give an upgrade. This is just an example. Now, a question that was not asked is a waste of time. Going back to business. If I don't ask you, I will never know. If I ask, you can say yes, you can say no. I have, I think, a better chance to get the yes if there's a relationship, if there is a respect between the two people. And, in my time, I read a lot of books, I'm sure you do too. I think that one of the most important things in life for business or personal is to read and read and read. I love reading. And then when you read, you get other opinions, other points of views, things that you didn't think about. And I'm human. So I get upset. I get frustrated. But logically, I convince myself that being upset and being frustrated is not going to move me forward. I'm not going to gain anything. I'm going to lose more than I'm going to gain if I'm going to be upset. So there were times in my life that I was from 0 to 10, 9, upset. 9, okay? But if you would look at me and see how I communicated with the people around me, you would say, he's not upset at all, because I didn't show it. Because I was focusing on the situation, the problem, and the solution.
Are
Not
you
about the
upset
problem,
now?
but the solution.
I'm asking if you're upset now, just to make sure, because you look very, very
Very
nice,
calm. Very,
very
yes.
I
calm.
I want to conclude with that's the more than $1 million question. Amir, managing relationship cross generations, meaningful relationship, meaningful topics cross countries, in many different areas in the States. How you maintain? Like, what's the secret practice for you? And I know we need a few hours for that, but if you can conclude that, how do you hold cross generation, cross topics, cross reasons, a meaningful, impactful relationship that lead to action, right? Eventually, you need results. You need to fundraise. You need to get people to pay something and write checks.
Right. Yeah, as you said, it could be a very long discussion, but like couple of points. Point number one, be real. Be real. Don't BS anyone. Don't just, tell things to go out of complicated situation. Be honest. If you made a mistake, own it. Own it. When it's time to say, I'm sorry, say that. By the way, never say I'm sorry just by I'm sorry. Always say I'm sorry that. That means more than I'm sorry. Okay? Being real means that to look at the person in the eyes and build a relationship. Listen. Listen more than you talk. When you are with a donor or a prospective donor, and he says, my brother just passed away. Listen. Don't jump and say, oh, my mom, oh, my brother, oh, because it's not about you. They want to be heard. They want to share the pain. Listen. And then I think that, humbly said, I was gifted by a good memory. So when I listen to someone and they say, you know what? It's a real story. My granddaughter is going through hell at her university because of anti-Semitism. She can't go from one office to a lecture without being spit on, being threatened. Now, I am FIDF, Friends of the Israeli Defense Forces. Nothing in my job description says universities or anti-Semitism on campuses. But if he or she told me that, that means it's important to them, and I will do it for two reasons. I'll do it for two reasons. I'll find a solution. One, because I'm really passionate and care about their granddaughter, even though I never met her, because it's a student who needs help. And then two, I know that by doing this, I will show my prospective donor that I care, that I hear, that I can find a solution. So look at the big picture all the time. Don't think about someone who gave you $180. In my case, as a fundraiser. Don't think about someone who gave you $180 as a lost battle. You're not going to gain more or a higher gift. No. Invest, care, listen, pay attention. Have always communication, open communication. And then you see that, again, true story, that 180 became 250,000. It's all about, because people give to a cause, and I truly believe that my product, the Israeli soldiers, female and male, are unbelievable, are amazing. So I have the product that I believe in, otherwise I won't be here. But the second thing is, and I'm saying it humbly, people don't always give only to the organization, they give to the person because they trust the person, because he answers their questions, because he's valuable. You know, one thing that carried with me in all my jobs, sometimes was not that great when you have a family and a wife and kids, is that I was never 8 to 5. I was never 8 to 10. I was never 8 to 12, midnight. I am available. My board members know, they call me, I answer. My donors know, they call me, I answer. I'm available. That's one of my strengths, that they know that they can reach me anytime, any day.
Very important. Thank you. Joseph, you want to
I want to thank you for the golden nuggets. I'm amazed by stories, and I want to wish you to continue to be a great leader and do crazy and strong and amazing thing for the Jewish nation around the world and anywhere you find yourself. And thank you for your time here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. We'd love to have
Thank
you
you.
back because really, I learned so much in this hour. I'm so grateful that you were here, and it's just always wonderful to share
Thank you.
ideas and learn more things. Thank you for the job you're doing, for the work you're doing for Israel. Thank you.
Thank you, Dina. Thank you, Yossi.
Right.
It was a pleasure.
Great. Okay, so follow us, and we will be soon with another episode. And if you have any questions to us or to Amir, feel free to write them in the comments, and we will try to answer them all. Take care.
Thank you. Toda rabah.